A winter afternoon in Padova, an Italian city of culture for centuries, with its frescoes alone said to be crucial to the development of European art. And as the evening draws in, at the city's exhibition centre, preparations are being made to reveal a new artistic first. 1,000 miles from their home in the south of England, Battistinis, builders of some of the finest custom motorcycles in the world, are about to show a one-off creation. Their masterpiece in metal will be revealed to the world in this gallery showcasing the best and most innovative works of art in custom motorcycling. Engineers Davy Marshall and Ian Borroman are unloading the bare bones of a very special motorcycle. It's a frame that's been built to Davy's exact specifications, and it's never been done before. This frame has been made for a bike that will carry the world's first 300mm motorcycle tyre. Davy is under a certain amount of pressure. He has to meet 2 deadlines, and the first is in less than a fortnight.
I have got 9 days to build this bike, so it can go up for a photo shoot in London. It's the first bike in the world to have a 300 section tyre on the rear of it. It only came out to the press today at 1 o'clock, and then they shipped it straight down to us. So I should be here probably to about 1, 2 o'clock. Nearly every night this week. No weekends for me, no beer for me, which is bad.
The man destined to own this world first is Phil Hardiman. A director of a construction company, it's been his dream to create a motorcycle like nothing else on earth.
I've always been into Harleys and I've enjoyed my Harley Davidsons, but I've never been quite happy that it's been my bike. They are an art form to me, and I thought that I should almost commission my own work of art. I have actually paid £47,000 so far. However, there can be no compromise. I could have had an £8,000 motor instead of a 12, but the 12 just looks nicer. And I couldn't be sat in this den having a beer, looking at that bike thinking, no, I wish I'd had that motor or whatever. But this bike is so important that it has to be right.
And that ambitious plan for the widest tyre is already causing problems.
There's never been a frame produced big enough for it. So it's an entirely one-off frame that I've made that actually to fit the 300 tyre. And I'm just playing about with stuff and trying a different look with the twin single down tube stuff and the right side drive gearbox. It's the first time I've actually used one, and hopefully it should all fit in and work really quite nicely.
Fred Laws wants his bike to be right too. He just has a small problem with the finances. He's a postman in Winchester with a young family, and there's a gap between his reverie and reality.
Standard Harley frame cost me £2.5 with logbook. Front forks, they come over from the States, £700. The front wheel with the tyre cost $250. The tank's standard fat bob. It's had flush fitting caps put in. The gearbox alone cost £600. The swinging arm cost $75. The rear fender was £100. And as you can see, it's not even got an engine. I do despair sometimes when I know, I could go out and buy an engine tomorrow if I had the money. No problem whatsoever. So I could have it ready within 6 months, say. But I know, unless I've put myself in a predicament money-wise, I'm not going to be able to do that. But it's always better, or you feel better for yourself, you know that you've built something yourself, and something that you want to ride. So, I must fix that light.
Getting that hands-on satisfaction is what it's all about for the Salisbury custom bike builder Dave Kennell. He and his partner Rob Lacey specialise in craftsman-built machines tailored to their customers. But their current work in progress is Rob's own mean machine.
So this is Rob's bike, and essentially it has to be Rob's bike because to a certain degree, it's very representational of Rob, what he likes in a bike, the stance of it and stuff like that. Although he'd probably disagree, as most people would.
Definitely.
We've got a lot of very pointed, angular objects, quite aggressive-looking objects going on. Of course, in the tail end of the frame, that's Rob's very minimalistic idea of this. And obviously, it's a nice, pleasant shape. If you had the large computer equipment and everything, then of course you could afford to design all this right from scratch. But in the way we do it here, in a limited way, it's done much more in an artistic way, where you would try a few brushstrokes, if you like. If you don't like them, change them. Maybe something you did earlier, you can bring back into play later on.
Their plan is to create a specially designed end piece to make the exhaust system as unique as Rob himself.
That pipe is actually bigger than that.
Yeah, right.
Did you want that? Would you like that as it is, but just smaller, or would you like that point to be more exaggerated?
No, I think as it is, because I still want the point coming out of it.
Right, okay.
First step, drill the holes. Then onto the lathe to turn a square lump of metal into a beautifully detailed piece.
And there you have it, basically. The end piece we were talking about.
3 hours work, a result.
There we go. Look at that. It's good. You like it?
Yeah.
Good.
You like it?
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, it's good. That's something like that.
Nice and sharp, nice and pointy, just like Rob.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Kick it.
Back in Bournemouth, Phil's bike is taking shape as the huge front forks are put in position by Davy, Ian and their boss Mark Battistinis. It's Davy's first chance to see the full size of the chopper.
Kick it. It's looking really nice. It's big. I knew it was going to be big, but when you see it like this, I think I might be struggling to ride it.
The first major design problem is finding a shape for the tank to complement such a huge machine.
We're going to go that way.
No, because you're going to lose, all the lines are going to be gone.
All the lines are just going to clash, so I think it's going to maybe even a square, sort of a squarish tank. Yeah, that's starting to get there.
Right, cut it out, let's have a look.
I was accepted to Glasgow College of Art, but I decided it wasn't for me. We had that sort of discussion today about modern art, and I don't actually see what's modern about it. I just think it's atrocious, people's bedrooms and stuff in a gallery. It's not art, as far as I'm concerned. That's a tank. Okay, that's a tank. Well, I'm pleased with that.
Can't see the vision.
Yeah.
It's a lot of welding for you, isn't it?
Inspiration for a petrol tank has come from a more unusual source for Maggie Iverts. She wants her motorcycle to portray the Norman conquests as seen on the Bayeux tapestry.
I wanted something unique and individual to me, and I'm very interested in the Norman conquest and Harold Godwinson particularly, and the Bayeux tapestry. I had it in mind really for about 2 years. I'd like to have a custom bike, and that those images would be something that would be good, but would be difficult to do, and it was a question of having to try to find a way to achieve it.
And the man Maggie found for the job is the airbrush artist Steve Mahachi.
This is the design that I'm going to be doing on this side of the tank. I'm going to have an archer shooting an arrow. On the other side of the tank will be Harold with the arrow in his eye. So one side tells a story and so will the other side. So this is the first design I'm going to do on here. Use a bit of freehand masking to the bottom of the clouds. Because it's a silhouette and it's black, and the whole background is black, I'm going to sketch it on, mask it out, spray it in black, the rough outline, and then blend it into the background as I work along. So you just got to apply just enough pressure to cut through the masking tape. Hopefully when you take your masking tape off or your mask, it doesn't take everything with it. Cool bananas. As you take the tape off, it slowly starts to reveal itself, and it's quite nice, and the whole thing comes together. And you get the image. Every time you do a job, you learn more about different things, like this with the Bayeux tapestry, learning about the history of Hastings and that. It's not just painting and get it done and get it out. You actually learn a lot about the subject matter that you're doing. But this thing about, well, Hastings and Harold dying with the arrow in his eye, it's all been put into question now. So whether he did or didn't, but that's the myth. But apparently he was cut to pieces. Okay, there, we're done.
Saturday night is funky fun.
Who are you going to be tonight? Tonight, Kat, I'm going to be...
At 5:55, Stars in Their Eyes Kids.
It's like the grown-up version, only littler.
Then Fash thinks he's on Celebrities Under Pressure with the family from hell.
I'm a change of celebrity. He can't even...
Davy's having problems with his one-off design. The swinging arm holds the huge back tyre in place, but it doesn't fit the frame.
Basically, the swing arm's where the rear wheel sits in, and also becomes a suspension unit on these. It's meant to look like a hardtail, so the suspension runs underneath and everything pivots from the centre. The problem being with this is because it's for a 300 section tyre, basically the first tyre in the world, we didn't have the dimensions of it, so we actually made the swing arm blind, and now we realise it doesn't actually fit in the swing arm, and we're having such a tight schedule. I've not got time to go and make another swing arm. I'm going to need to modify this one to fit.
It's a major setback, and the only option is to start cutting. This time it fits, but it doesn't move. Davy's going to have to cut further into his lovingly designed bespoke frame.
Because it's part of the design that I'm really starting to struggle here. I'm actually going to throw the toys out the pram in a minute.
Success at last. The swing arm fits and has the vital movement needed for the suspension to work, but it's come at an artistic price for Davy. Alan Porter, otherwise known as Sheddy, has had his own struggles for perfection in the making of his custom motorcycle.
I had to sell my old bike, which probably covered half of the build of the bike, and then over a period of a year and a half, I work as a drainage operator for a water company, and basically all the overtime that I did was put into financing this project. At times I was working when I'd injured my back, and relationships took a bit of a hammering in that as well, but well, on the whole I think it was worth it at the end of the day. Owning a custom bike, it's the feeling of having something that nobody else has got. Like you get like with a lot of custom bikes, yeah, they've got similar parts, but no two bikes look exactly the same. And for me, you know, every time I'm out on that, when I turn up at motorcycle meetings, I'm swamped with people, and you know, I sum it up as like when I'm on it, I feel like a rock star, only I'm not the star, the bike is.
Back at Battistinis, and Davy has the tank back, a stunning creation from his cardboard cutout design.
Well, that fits on tremendous. The lines and everything is just the way I imagined it, the way it's flowing down, down to here. This part here now is going to have another aluminium seat base that's going to flow, so it all looks as one piece, runs down into here, with the seat sculpted inside of it. so everything will just flow as one. It'll look as if it's just one complete piece.
So the tank is a success, but Davy's running out of time.
As you can see, it's day 6 now, and it's not that much further forward. As a matter of fact, there's actually bits off it now since you last seen it. Problems being is mainly the back end of the bike. The oil tank and stuff, just try to get that to fit with the clearance, with the swing arm coming up. The drive side brake, everything's just clashing. We can't get the caliper to fit in, and everything's just, I just need to remodify everything and redo everything. It's coming together. It needs to come together because I've got till Friday to get it finished. And that's a deadline. I can't say no.
The pressure is building for Davy. But in Hastings, Maggie's a very happy lady. Her 1066 bike is back, and she's itching to show it off.
People tend to have a really emotional attachment to these things. It isn't just paint, it's an emotional thing. It's an expression of yourself, and you become very personally engaged with it. So that, well, I actually cried, and when I saw it, I actually welled up and cried because I was overcome. I thought it was so beautiful, and I couldn't believe that it was mine.
Maggie's passion for the Battle of Hastings even extends to her dress code. As a modern-day warrior queen, she's enthralled with her steed of steel.
To me, it has real meaning because the Norman Conquest is a really important event in our history, and for the people that live round in this area, it's something everyone would know about and everyone would recognise. And it's totally and absolutely beautiful. There's a desperate search for self-expression, and you've got to achieve that almost at any price. I think mine's shockingly expensive, but you know, well, what the hell, you know? I mean, it was just something I had to do.
It's day 9, and Davy's almost made his first deadline.
Well, that's it. Last piece in the jigsaw. I've got it done on the day I said I would for the photo shoot for the tyre, and I'm bloody pleased with it. Very pleased with it. The only thing now is once it's done now, I need to strip it all back down again and try and get it ready for pad over, which is going to be another struggle, because we've promised Phil for it for then, and that's the next deadline.
At home, Phil is eagerly awaiting delivery of the monster machine to his specially designed motorcycle den.
This is where I come to look at my works of art. I suppose you could almost call it a gallery. Whether I'm riding Harley Davidsons or just looking at them, I'm just as happy. Sat here with a beer and looking at my bikes. The space here is waiting for the next art form, which I can't wait. I have a bit of a dilemma on the lighting system because it's been set out for standard Harley Davidson. The new chopper is 10 foot 1 inches long and is much larger. Do I rip the floor up and completely change things, or do I just reposition the bike so that it looks reasonable? If you've been into bikes all your life, it's a very hard thing to explain, but there are certain bikes and styles of bikes that just make you feel good. This bike has done that for me, and I just cannot wait to ride it. That's the most important thing for me.
But Phil has a while to wait yet. His bike is back from the tyre manufacturer's photo shoot, but now Davy's got to get it ready to be shown off at the Bike Expo in Padova, and there are more problems.
Well, the thing is now I've only got a week to get this done, and I wanted to get it done before Padova to take it to the show. Totally complete, totally painted, but I don't think that's going to happen now. I don't think the paintwork's going to happen. So, up against it.
Although the paintwork can't be done in time for the bike's big unveiling, Phil comes up to discuss the design with painter Terry Spencer before the chopper leaves for Italy.
And the concept of the bike is retro, an old style 60s chopper, but brought right up to date with obviously the 300 back end. So, you know, I'm over to you, Mr. Starter.
Yeah. Well, I think I go for a traditional, but I go for more of a modern style frame, not like a barb flame or anything, but something. I mean, I like the long
something
flames.
wacky, something.
Yeah, something very
something very wacky rather than like a traditional hot rod flame. It's
which is very
yeah,
symmetrical.
I think because it's a larger area, you can get away with something being a little bit more busy as well, because that's not exactly busy.
No.
And I think I go for maybe like a purple.
As long as it's a deepish purple, this type of purple,
yeah,
and you know, an orange. You know, as I say, you're the painter, you're the man that can make it just look that bit different.
7 days later, the Bike Expo is in full swing. Last year, 62,000 people flocked to see some of the most exotic creations in the custom bike world. This year, the crowds are back in droves, and there's a world first to feast their eyes on. Even though the chopper is still in bare metal, everyone wants to see the new creation.
This bike is wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful bike.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I like it.
I never see something like that. Unbelievable.
Phil Hardiman is still taking it all in.
It's very strange to be in Italy, a long way from home, with the bike here. It's a shame it's not finished, because I just think it would have blown all the competition away. But it's a very strange feeling to watch all these thousands of people looking at something that I've created.
I knew when we were doing the bike that it would get a lot of interest, and looking around at the other great bikes that are in the show, I think as Phil said, you know, if the bike was finished, we would have stormed all the shows with it and won a lot of prizes. But then I think it's going to be a few years before someone catches up with it, so it's always later on this year or next year for it.
The bike may not have made its world debut in full finery, but for Phil, the real thrill is yet to come.
Well, this is it. This has been worth the 3 or 4 months, all the missed deadlines, all the pain, all the money. It's got to be worth it.
You don't want to give it away, but it makes you feel good knowing that somebody loves it as much as you love it. You know, it's not just a motorbike, it's a passion, and it's great. It's the bike that I've always wanted. It's the bike that's the size and the shape and the colour and everything that I've wanted. It's the ultimate.